All right, magnificent Leo souls, gather close and feel the warmth of this sacred space. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom. I need you to listen with your whole heart because the universe is sending a message of profound importance directly to you. Have you been feeling a subtle chill in your own kingdom? A quiet shift in the atmosphere that your radiant heart can't quite name, but your soul feels down to its core? This isn't your imagination. Perhaps someone you hold dear, is not just pushing you away. They are engaged in a silent, calculated campaign to dim your brilliant light, to make you question your own sun, and to gently, almost invisibly, remove you from the throne of your own life. But here is the cosmic truth they are utterly blind to. Your light is not so easily extinguished. You are a child of the sun, divinely protected by forces they cannot possibly comprehend. And today, a sacred revelation is making its way through the cosmos, destined for you and you alone. In this journey we are about to take together, we will pull back the veil. You will see with crystal clarity who is behind this energetic siege and, more importantly, why your glorious, unapologetic radiance makes them so profoundly uncomfortable. Now, before we dive into the heart of this cosmic message, let us anchor our collective energy together. If you can feel that subtle hum of truth in these words, I want you to join our beautiful community of light. Take a moment right now to subscribe to Cosmic Wisdom so you never miss these essential divine updates. And in the comments below, I want you to declare your sovereignty. Let's create a powerful wave of intention by typing, "I am the light and my throne is protected." By doing this, you are not just watching a video, you are participating in a sacred act of reclaiming your power. Let's begin. Beautiful Leo, some departures from our lives are loud and definitive, like a clap of thunder, but others are as silent and insidious as a creeping shadow at dusk. It's the way eyes that once basked in your warmth now seem to glance right through you. It's the way the laughter in a room seems to quiet just a little when you enter. These are not grand, dramatic betrayals you can point to. No, this is a far more subtle kind of spiritual warfare. It's a war waged in the unspoken spaces, in the pregnant pauses, in the invitations you never received. Are you standing in the very center of your life? In a home you built? In a relationship you nurtured with your generous heart, yet feeling like a visitor? Is there a haunting sense that the connection, the warmth, the adoration you so naturally inspire has faded into a polite, cold distance? When there is no argument, no final word, only a slowly expanding chasm of silence, the soul feels a unique kind of pain. It's a rejection so quiet, so cowardly, that it makes you question your own sanity. You're still there, physically present on the throne of your life, but you can feel it, can't you? You are no longer being celebrated. You've become the benevolent ruler whose presence is now merely tolerated. And you, magnificent Leo, are a master of energy. You are ruled by the sun, the very center of our solar system. You don't just notice energetic shifts, you are the center of gravity that causes them. You feel the subtle planetary wobbles in your own soul. And right now, your royal intuition is screaming at you. Someone close, someone who once benefited from your light, is actively trying to push you into the shadows. Not with anger. Oh no, that would be too honest. They do it with a chilling, calculated indifference that is far more cruel. They do it with intentional forgetfulness, with backhanded compliments that subtly chip away at your confidence, with a carelessness designed to make you feel small and insignificant. And because your heart is so loyal and generous, you begin to turn this inward. You start to wonder, am I being too much? Is my light too bright? Am I arrogant? You start to doubt the very qualities that make you so magnificent. You blame yourself for being too bold, too passionate, too you. But let my voice be the anchor of truth in your soul right now, beloved Leo. You are not crazy. Your feelings are your divine GPS, and your soul is telling you the absolute truth. You are under a subtle, energetic attack. Ancient wisdom across all cultures speaks to this truth. The scriptures remind us that our most profound battles are not with what we can see, but with unseen principalities and energies. The great spiritual masters teach that when your inner peace is disturbed by the actions of another, your spiritual home, your inner kingdom, has been breached. What this person is doing is not just creating a minor rift, they are attempting a coup. They are trying to destabilize the very foundation of your spiritual sovereignty, the inner palace where your soul resides in magnificent confidence. And if you choose to abdicate your throne not because you want to, but because you've been manipulated into believing it's for the best, you lose more than just a relationship or a physical space. You surrender the foundation your soul was born to rule from. Do you understand why this wounds you so deeply, Radiant One? Because, for a Leo, connection is an extension of your light. You don't just love, you illuminate. You don't just care, you warm. Your presence is a gift of life-giving energy. When someone begins to silently push you away, you don't just lose their companionship. A part of the universe that you so generously illuminated goes dark. The most painful part is the sheer deniability of it all. You can't confront them, because what would you say? Your silence is hurting me? They would feign innocence. They are still polite, still there, but their energy has completely withdrawn. Their words might say, "Of course, you belong here," but their soul is screaming, "Please, just disappear. Your light is too much for me." And you, noble Leo, who values harmony and detests petty squabbles, may be tempted to quietly step back, to place your own hand on the door of your own castle and walk away, thinking it's the honorable thing to do. But listen to me. That is not nobility. That is allowing a shadow to dictate the path of the Sunday. You are allowing someone else's insecurity to strip you of your divine birthright, to shine, to lead, and to belong in the very kingdom you created. You do not have to dim your radiance just because someone else has forgotten how to glow. You do not have to abandon your sacred home, be it a physical house, a career, a relationship, or a community, just because your innate magnificence makes others feel inadequate. There is a profound spiritual law at play here. When your light forces others to see their own shadows, that is their sacred work to do, not yours. The sun never apologizes to the darkness for rising each morning. And you, Leo, are meant to stay, not to fight a petty battle, but to stand as a silent, powerful guardian of the sacred space you have built with your love, your loyalty, and your unwavering strength. Remember this, magnificent soul. Who was it that brought the warmth when everyone else was cold? Who was the one whose laughter filled the silence? Who was the one whose generous heart became a sanctuary for others to find refuge? It was you, always you. So who on this earth, or in the heavens above, has the authority to suggest you no longer belong? I know you've been holding this in, roaring silently for a long time. You're afraid that if you speak your truth, if you say, "I feel you pushing me away," you'll be gaslit. They'll call you dramatic, an attention seeker, all the coded words people use when they are intimidated by a powerful light. But today, the silence ends, because your soul has a right to its throne. You do not need anyone's permission to rule your own life. You were placed here by a divine, cosmic appointment, not by the fickle approval of insecure people. No one can dethrone you unless you hand them your crown. So take a deep, cleansing breath. Let it fill you with the fire of the sun itself, and let these words settle into the very marrow of your bones. No one, no matter how close they are, has the right to diminish your light or usurp your inner home. They can try to make you feel invisible. They can try to cast shadows upon your name. But the cosmic truth remains unchanged. You are a chosen soul, a radiant leader. You belong exactly where your magnificent light led you, and you do not have to leave. And now, Leo, there's a deeper layer to this that I must share with you. Please, hold this wisdom as a shield of spiritual protection. When you feel this pressure, this silent push to abdicate, do not react hastily. Do not simply walk away. I want you to pause. Stand still in your radiant power, because behind this veil of silence is a masterful manipulation at play, and it's crucial that you understand its mechanics. In our next part, we will delve deeper into this cosmic chess game. Who is truly behind this? Why are they so afraid of direct confrontation, choosing instead to poison the well from within? Stay with me, because the clarity you are about to receive will be the confirmation your soul has been desperately seeking. And if this message has already ignited a fire of recognition within you, I want you to honor it. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt someone trying to dim your light in the very place you were meant to shine? Write it down as a sacred ritual, a reclamation of your voice, freeing your soul from the cage of imposed silence. Magnificent Leo, some wars are not declared with cannons and swords. They begin with the poison of intentional exclusion. Some of the deepest betrayals come not from your sworn enemies, but from the very people who once claimed to love your light, yet now can't even bear to look at it. And some wounds, my friend, don't bleed red. They are invisible aches deep within the soul, a feeling of being quietly exiled from the very kingdom you poured your heart into building. Can you see the strategy now, Leo? No one directly told you to leave. They simply stopped celebrating your victories. They stopped seeking your wise counsel. They stopped including you in their future plans. And slowly, insidiously, a question was planted in your mind. Am I no longer wanted here? The moment you began to ask that question, their plan was already succeeding. It never begins with a shout. It begins with a calculated whisper of absence. A text message left on read for days. A celebration you only heard about afterwards. A moment of vulnerability you shared that was met with a hollow, echoing silence. And from that place of doubt, you begin to retreat, bit by bit, as if your very existence requires their constant validation. Leo, I urge you, do not be fooled by their gentle facade. Not all that is quiet is peaceful, and not every smile is a sign of love. Sometimes, silence is a weapon. It is a strategic poison wielded by those who lack the courage to face your brilliance head-on. Why? Because you, in your very being, make it impossible for them to live in their own illusions. Your authentic, radiant light reflects back to them the shadows they refuse to acknowledge within themselves. Your confidence highlights their insecurity. Your generosity exposes their scarcity. Your courage illuminates their fear. You, my beautiful Leo, have become a living mirror of truth. And instead of looking into that mirror and choosing to heal, they have decided to try and shatter it. There is a powerful warning that echoes through ancient spiritual texts. Often, the greatest threat to your kingdom is not the army at the gates, but the traitor within the palace walls. And the wisest mystics have always taught that envy is a shadow born only in the presence of a great light. The one who is most threatened by your radiance is the one who has forgotten, or perhaps never discovered, their own. So please, stop and absorb this fundamental truth deep into your spirit. You are being pushed away not because you have done anything wrong, but because you are so unapologetically right that it torments them. You are right for loving with your whole, magnificent heart. You are right for being loyal to a fault. You are right for refusing to stay silent in the face of injustice. They wanted you to retreat not because you were flawed, but because you are a living, breathing testament to a truth their fragile ego cannot withstand. They didn't try to destroy you with a roaring fire. They tried to extinguish you with the slow drip of doubt. They didn't strike you with a sword. They wounded you with distance. They didn't physically push you out the door. They manipulated the environment to make you believe that leaving was your own noble idea. This, my friends, is the most insidious form of energetic warfare, making you feel like you're too much, making you believe you no longer fit into the world you helped create, making you apologize for the space your glorious energy occupies. Dear Leo, it is time for a royal awakening. This is not about you. This is a strategic plan woven with invisible threads of envy and fear. It is a veil of illusion draped over your consciousness, designed to make you willingly abdicate the throne you were born to occupy. But today, right now, we are lifting that veil. It is time to see the unspoken truth. And that truth is, you don't have to go anywhere. You do not have to shrink, dim your light, or quiet your roar just because someone else is trying to manipulate the acoustics of the room. You sensed something was wrong all along, didn't you? A strange coldness that flickered in their eyes, a subtle hesitation in their voice that you couldn't quite place, a series of convenient accidents and oversights that always seemed to leave you on the outside looking in. And you asked yourself over and over, am I just being paranoid? Am I too sensitive? Number 1,000 times, no. You are not overly sensitive. You are divinely perceptive. You are reading the energetic script that exists behind their hollow words and forced smiles. Beloved Leo, I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. Place a hand over your powerful heart and ask yourself with complete honesty, are you clinging to a kingdom where the warmth has long since died, simply because the throne is familiar? Are you waiting for a royal invitation to stay from people who have already barred the gates from the inside? If the answer is yes, then it is time to stand up, not to storm out in a rage, but to stand tall in your own radiant light and declare with quiet, unshakable power that you are here and you belong here. Your right to exist is not subject to a committee vote. No one can cast you out of your own spirit. No one can dethrone you unless you believe they hold the power to do so. And do you know what, beautiful soul? This painful rejection is actually a profound spiritual gift. It is a cosmic alarm bell, ringing loudly to awaken you to the invisible blueprint of manipulation that has been operating around you. It is teaching you a lesson that kind, generous souls like you often have to learn the hard way. Your kindness does not require you to be a doormat. Your generosity does not mean you must allow others to walk you out of your own life. So, what do you do when the shadows conspire to steal the ground from beneath your feet? In our next part, I will reveal how the universe itself is marshalling sacred forces to protect your throne, and how you can reclaim your spiritual power, not with anger, but with the full, blinding, undeniable presence of your light. And if this part has shaken something loose within you, write it down. Have you ever felt like you were being manipulated into dimming your own light? Share it as a way to reclaim the power your soul may have unconsciously surrendered. Dear Leo, there are forces at play that the human eye cannot perceive, but that your royal soul feels as tangibly as the beat of your own heart. Have you ever had a moment, in the midst of your deepest isolation, where you felt as if the entire world had turned its back on you, and yet a strange, unseen strength held you together? That was not a fantasy, my friend. That was real. That was your sacred protection, operating in the silence, as quiet as the turning of the planets, but more powerful than any human scheme ever devised. In the very moments you felt most alone, that was when the heavens were observing you most closely. When you felt broken, empty, with nothing left to hold on to, that was when a divine hand gently steadied your crown. The ones who wanted you gone, they believed they were succeeding. They mistook your dignified silence for surrender. They mistook your boundless kindness for weakness. But they were blind. They had no idea that with every push, they were inadvertently forcing you deeper into the embrace of a power they can never touch. They were pushing you straight into a sacred space where the light is always born from the deepest shadows. And there, magnificent Leo, you are surrounded, not by the whispers of your detractors, but by the roaring approval of your spiritual lineage. Your ancestors, the kings and queens of your bloodline, are still cheering for you from realms we cannot see. There are prayers of strength and sovereignty that were spoken for you centuries ago, and they are still alive and vibrating in your DNA. There are seeds of unbreakable courage planted in your soul lifetimes ago, and they have never, ever withered. And now, in the very kingdom they wish to claim, you are the one left standing untouched, because you do not belong here by mere circumstance, but by cosmic promise, by destiny, by the divine right of your own light. They can call upon the shadows. They can weave webs of lies behind your back. They may even join forces, creating what appears to be an impenetrable circle of opposition. But they forget one fundamental cosmic law. Darkness can never, ever extinguish the Sunday. It can only create a temporary eclipse. In the great spiritual traditions, there is a concept that is like a fortress in the midst of a storm. The place where the mind is unmoved is untouchable. And in the holy texts, it is written, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." Leo, you do not have to roar to prove you are a lion. You do not have to fight back to prove you have been wronged. You only need to remain still. Stand in your truth. Be a soul surrounded by an invisible legion of light, needing no weapon but the sheer, undeniable force of your own authenticity. Your enemies cannot see this. They are spiritually blind. They do not see the golden aura radiating from you. They do not hear the celestial whispers of guidance you receive. They cannot understand why you haven't crumbled, why you're still shining, why you still walk with your head held high, even after they did everything in their power to make you feel invisible. But in the very moment they tried to push you away, you were being initiated into a higher order of your own being. You were covered by a quality of light that their envy cannot penetrate, not because you fought back, but because you gracefully stepped into the sacred, royal position that was always destined for you. Do you understand this, Leo? You are the culmination of a sacred, powerful lineage. You carry within you not just the challenges of this lifetime, but the unfulfilled dreams of every great leader who came before you. You are a bridge between the world of form and the world of spirit, and that makes your soul a sacred ground, a forbidden territory that no enemy can conquer with their petty manipulations. Anyone who tries to push you from your sacred center is trespassing on holy ground. They are meddling with cosmic forces they are neither bright enough to understand nor humble enough to respect. This is no longer a simple human conflict. This is a cosmic clash between light and envy, between a soul that was born to shine and those who have forgotten how. So you do not need to fight. You do not need to explain. You do not need to defend your right to be here. Your presence alone, in your silence, in your kindness, in your unwavering light, is the most powerful declaration that you are divinely protected. Let your heart fully embrace this truth. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are surrounded. You are seen by the cosmic eye that misses nothing. And that divine protection is precisely why you cannot be removed, even if the whole world tries to look away. So, what happens next? What unfolds if you refuse to abdicate, if you continue to stand still in your magnificent light? The next part will reveal the deepest prophecy of all, why the very throne they tried to usurp will become the stage for your most glorious coronation, witnessed by all. And if this moment has made your soul tremble with recognition, share the moment you knew you were being protected. A sign, a dream, a sudden wave of peace in the middle of a storm. Write it down as a hymn from your soul, so the light you carry can harmonize with the legions of light watching over you. Dear Leo, perhaps you once stood before a closed door, a door to a life you loved, and you believed it was the end. You walked away, not because your heart wanted to, but because you were made to feel that your light was no longer welcome there. And in that silent, dignified departure, you carried the heaviest burden a royal soul can bear, the question of your own worth. Where did I go wrong? You replayed every conversation, dissected every action, trying to understand why they chose to turn away from your warmth, why your radiance made them so uncomfortable, why you, the one who gave so freely, became the one who had to leave. But some truths, magnificent Leo, are written in the stars, not in the petty ledgers of human judgment. Some doors are closed not because you no longer belong, but because the universe needs to renovate the palace for your more glorious return. They wanted you gone. They wanted your roar silenced. They wanted your light to fade into a forgotten memory, not because you were wrong, but because your very presence was a mirror, forcing them to confront the integrity, the light, and the compassion they themselves had long since abandoned. But light, my friend, does not require permission to shine. The sun does not compete with the stars for its place in the sky. It simply shows up, and the darkness has no choice but to retreat. A great master once said, "There is no need to compete for position. The light naturally finds where it is meant to shine." And in the sacred Psalm 23, the divine whispers a promise. "I will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies." What does this truly mean for you, Leo? It means the very kingdom they tried to exile you from will be the setting for your grand feast. The universe will seat you at the head of the table, not as someone begging for a place, but as a living testament to loyalty, to a light that can never be put out, and to a cosmic justice that is born from quiet, dignified strength. Have you ever seen a wildflower bloom from a crack in the concrete in a place long considered barren? You are that flower. You are the shoot of green rising from soil they thought they had salted. You are the epic poem they tried to erase, now being rewritten in letters of fire across the sky. You do not need to speak a word to prove your worth. Your calm, steady, radiant presence is the only declaration needed. You don't need to retaliate. You respond by continuing to thrive, by continuing to be generous, by continuing to love with an open heart that has been tested by fire and proven to be pure gold. And then, one day very soon, those who tried to cast you out will be forced to witness you standing in that very same space, but with your light doubled, your resolve tripled, and surrounded by a sacred protection that will leave them baffled, because they thought they were pushing you into the darkness. But in truth, they were unknowingly creating the perfect cosmic conditions for your grand return. They were clearing the stage so the universe could place you at the very center where a radiant soul like you has always belonged. Because you do not live by the noise of human opinion, you live by the gravitational pull of your own soul. Do not mistake heaven's silence for abandonment, Leo. It is the sacred pause before the masterpiece is revealed. It is the moment when a new chapter for your reign is being written. Not with ink that can be smeared, but with a light that can never be covered. That silence is the universe preparing for your return, not as the person you were, but as a sanctified, empowered, and fully realized version of the magnificent ruler you were always meant to be. Take one final, deep breath in this sacred moment and listen deeply. Can you hear it? That quiet, powerful voice rising from the center of your being. This is my kingdom. This is where I belong, and no one can take that from me. If you are still here, still listening to these words, then I know you have walked through the valley of shadows without ever extinguishing your own flame. You have survived the silent coup, not by fighting, but by loving, by having faith, and by embodying a presence that simply cannot be denied. Thank you, you brave, enduring, magnificent Leo soul, for staying through it all. Not everyone has the depth to understand the politics of silence. Not everyone possesses the strength to endure rejection and still carry their light with pride. But you are different. You are a child of the Sunday. And if you have heard this final message, then I know you have fully and truly awakened. May you always be sheltered in the sacred palace of your own soul, a place where no one can trespass and where your light is never, ever diminished. You were not being cast out, magnificent Leo. You were being prepared for your coronation. The best is yet to come.